And just like that, I'm 5 years younger. Feel old yet? Welcome back to the main menu screen for the 10,000th time. I remember a time when the only thing you needed to worry about was Shaman and Nobushi together. You get bled by Nobushi, and the next thing you'd know, you'd have a crazy psycho giving you a hickey on the ground, making you feel so dirty inside, pardon my French. That was all the way back when For Honor was young, and still so naive. So let's talk about Shaman, and ask ourselves, why is she only a trait 2 character? So for the past week, I've been playing Shaman so much, and really have grown to like her quite a bit. Did I play her when her bite did 50 damage way back then? Not so much, but she's remained relatively unchanged throughout her entire lifespan, making her a relic of the past. Throughout this video, you'll see and hear me talk about my experiences with her, and honestly, it's been mostly a positive experience, except for a few glaring issues which you have already dealt firsthand. I want to dive into Shaman and why we don't really see her as often as we used to, even though objectively, she's really not that bad of a hero at all. In my games, I do see Shamans here and there, more often than Nushia, that's for sure, which reminds me that Shaman players are basically crazy. But that's because Shaman is a crazy character. Wanna know something else though? She felt even more insane and fun to use when minion clear animations were still a thing. This was the best way to define her characteristics in For Honor. Take a look at some of these animations. They're basically executions, but in minion form. And to me, I find that extremely satisfying to use. Appreciate the YouTuber DeadX for archiving this because, it's quite sad that they took it out. Each hero had 2 or 3 light attack variant executions on minions, and they also had heavy animations on minions, which they would just go ham, and I think it really defined a character, especially with the heroes that we're getting now. They basically feel like clones of each other.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
And if you didn't see that, Shaman literally just stabbed that guy in the PP. She's pretty much your crazy ex-girlfriend, and that's a really nice characteristic to have. And truthishly, using these old minion animations as new executions instead of universal ones, or just one for every hero every season, would be something that I think Ubisoft should look into. Shaman really feels like a character that wants to put a hex on you because you stole her chickens or something. And to me, these minion executions just sell her entire character. And I should have put this in my Highlander video, but the way Highlander just throws this guy and defies gravity like a Chad is just hilarious. One thing I'd really like For Honor to do is to add lore-based information or details about the story or the character so we can actually understand who some of these characters are and what they represent. I know we get the backstory from the writers in The Warrior's Den when they release a new hero, but adding it to the game itself gives For Honor a little bit more depth. And remember, it's not just PvP players playing this game, it's PvE too. People who like to play arcade, play against the bots, and play the story mode. Don't worry, I didn't forget about you beautiful souls. You guys are just important as the PvP community. I think this would benefit PvP players and also PvE players who already know about the lore. Personally, I think this would get a lot of people into the lore, as games like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, League of Legends, and Trails in the Sky, one of my favorite RPGs, they put information on what item you're looking at or what character that you just found out about. And as you progress through the story or level up the character, you get to find out new things about them, especially since For Honor has started to base some of these characters off of real-life heroes or real-life characters that have lived in this world and inspired people to greatness. That greatness lies within all of us, and even still, I believe that Ubisoft has that greatness. The greatness to add bikini outfits to these characters. One that would boost sales and marketability by at least 5,000%. I've done the research and I've seen the data. Now let me tell you about Paul Allen's experiences with Shaman in Duels and Dominion. Now as time goes on, a lot of people say that, 4v4 Dominion is mostly just a team fighting game. Everybody's just hitting each other all the time. But in reality, it's a mix of duels and team play. There are countless amount of times where you are actually in 1v1 situations, whether that be in the base or somewhere off in spawn or something. And in those situations, heroes like Shaman do shine in that regard. But unfortunately, it is sad to say that Shaman really doesn't have any good anti-ganking capabilities, or at least nothing as reliable compared to other characters. Her range is lackluster and her unblockable is incredibly slow. She's got really good chase if someone tries to dodge roll away, but her reach is just non-existent, exactly like Peacekeeper. I think she has the tool, it's just that it's not as effective as other heroes that can perform better than her when it comes to anti-ganking or stalling. Her dodge attack is really great because you can target swap and delay the dodge attack so that people people can't parry it, or they just don't expect it because he delayed it so long. But other than that, what makes a good stalling hero is a hero with a full block and dodge cancel recoveries. And unfortunately, she only has dodge cancel recoveries within her chain heavy mix-ups where you can just dodge out of an attack. She's pretty much like Peacekeeper, where 1v1s they shine tremendously. But the difference between Shaman and Peacekeeper is that Shaman, she's essentially a ganker, and with their bite and pounce, my god, if you're alone with her and a teammate that knows how to gank, you're basically screwed in every regard. You better just take off your pants and bend over. And honestly, that goes with any competitive gank setup where you essentially just lose all your health because you were there by yourself, and that's what For Honor has turned into, where a game you can't really do anything by yourself anymore. You always have to have a teammate next to you, and it can't be a bad teammate, mind you. It has to be a good teammate. Otherwise, you just lose the game automatically. So For Honor has essentially just become a sweat fest. That's why I always say you should never try to get good at For Honor, because when you actually get good at any game whatsoever, you become angry, you become salty that other players or yourself are not doing too well in the game as you should be doing, because you know you can do better. And that's why ever since I started playing this hero, I just enjoy her because of her animalistic qualities that just exude as she screams, or her beautifully designed animations that we don't really get to see anymore with new characters. She's a hero that I can just play and shut out all the noise of the world. As long as I look sexy with her top tier fashion, I just don't care as much with how bad Ubisoft balances their game. And also one small thing that I totally forgot, and I just remembered as I was looking while I was editing this. When Shaman first released, she didn't open her mouth, well, necessarily, at least in the in-game menu, but I think after Marching Fire, or one of the big updates, they made her mouth open a lot more, and there were a lot of people who didn't like the change, but I personally really did like it because it showed that she was more of a freak. You know, she's used her mouth so well. You know, she's an expert on it. I'd love to meet Shaman. Someone like that, you know. But I think it gave her more character, and I personally enjoyed it a lot more. You guys have to let me know if you guys enjoyed that change or if you didn't find it to your taste. That's the Box of the Waters advice to you guys. So when I say she's still good in 1v1 and ganking potentials, all her strengths will help correlate into the fight. And honestly, she's got more positives than negatives in her kit, such as when someone is unlocked and running, you can land 3 attacks on them: your forward dodge heavy, your follow-up heavy, and your bleed right afterwards. That is a huge amount of damage that literally just takes all of their HP away and sets them up for a pounce. You can also do this with Bear Trap, and combined with Stealth, I think that's the perfect combo, because one, they won't be able to see you coming, and the Bear Trap, if you hide it well enough, they're not going to see it either. And with their third feat, the Hand Axe that bleeds them, it already sets you up for strong pressure already. And then Fire Flask is the best feat to be using as your tier 4. Scout is pretty decent, but Fire Flask is already so game changing that you shouldn't really be running anything else unless you want to meme around. And of course, when it comes to her strength, her bite is incredibly fast. I do believe it is 400 ms, but it does have a very slow startup time, so it still requires a read if you're right up in her face. But usually your teammate will have to hit stun for you to land it. GB does not work, remember that. In duels in 4v4, it's a really strong tool, but unfortunately in Dominion, my god, I've had so many times where people are just interrupting me all the time with a light attack, a dodge attack while I'm in my bite form. It's like the most painstaking thing I've ever experienced in my life, because it's such a slow animation, and once you do go into your bite, you relieve the enemy of all the bleed stacks that you have. Usually you want to go for the bite right away because it is 35 damage, but sometimes when they are low HP, it's better to go for raw damage so that they can bleed out with chip damage and watch the hope fade from their eyes as they just stare at you, waiting to die. And of course we have Shaman's fast 400 ms soft feint top light, which is her bleed, and I believe her side ones, they sped it up to 466. It used to just be 500 ms, which is fairly slow and you couldn't really use it. So when it comes to pure offense and 1v1 potential, she does have good tools. And let's not forget that Shaman also has soft feint guard breaks within all of her heavy attacks, so I think that's a really cool thing. And a neat little trick that somebody had told me was that to save some stamina, if you are trying to go into your mix-up, your unblockable heavy mix-ups, your chain heavy mix-ups, simple things like that, and you're low on stamina, to conserve it, you can just dodge forward and you don't have to press the feint button, because pressing the feint button consumes stamina, while just going for your dodge cancel recoveries will consume less stamina, I believe. It also helps to mix up your opponent, because if you're constantly dodging, he'll want to try GBU, and that's your opportunity to land some raw heavies or light attacks to interrupt him. Some honorable mentions are that Shaman's throw distance shows how much drugs she's actually on, because she takes you and she throws you like you're a 5-pound baby. Not only does she specialize in ledging, She can also do a pounce bash afterwards to push you even farther. It's weird because compared to like here's like Orochi or Nobushi, their throw distance is just pathetic compared to her. And she's like, I think she's one of the smallest heroes next to Peacekeeper. Her bash is neat though because you can wall splat with it and you can land a bleed or heavy attack right afterwards. It's such a fun mechanic and I really enjoy doing that, and it rewards you for positioning well and just playing the character. And as always, as I've said before, Shaman's strength is her fashion. I don't know why she has gold engravings with her. She has gold tattoos on her stomach too. Oh my gosh, that's probably one of my favorite parts about the woman's body, if I do say so myself. Bones, this is like metallic bones or something. Holy crap, yeah, but this variant right here has just normal looking bones, but this already itself is one of the best looking pieces for Viking fashion in general. She's got knives, she's got teeth everywhere. She's got, oh my gosh, just look at this stuff here. And this one has so many variants of weapons and tools for her to use. She's got rope, she's got feathers here, she got a satchel, she got a little hook right here. Like, what is that going to be used for? Is that used with her rope or something to climb like a ninja? Her torso pieces are always top tier stuff, and her tattoos are always visible to look amazing. Don't even get me started about her face. Like, holy crap, I think she probably has one of the best designed faces. She's got tons of different variants with her face paint, and I know some of the hairstyles may not be up to your standards, but holy crap, this is probably the most diverse helmet selection in the entire game, in my opinion. Look at all of that, so much cool designs. Even if it's just basic design like this, where she just covers half her face, a little bit of a claw mark on her eyes, it still tells you that she has a lot of history with her character and her life. I'm sure with Shaman's history, she's loved seeing men's head on spikes. And even this design, just floral patterns on her face, like my gosh, you can't go wrong with this. The hairstyle's not even that bad either. Wow, I need to get this one right here. This one looks like she's actually not crazy. She's wearing all that makeup to hide her true self. I will say this is probably the worst hairstyle of them all, and I hate to run it. Even her arms are not bad at all. Like, holy crap, look at this Fisker one. She's got regen. It's just tattoos. Tattoos are awesome. As for ornaments, I don't like all of the Viking ornaments. I really just like the reindeer horns and things that are really horny, as you guys know. I mean, just look at these designs. She's got bones everywhere, little animals. She got human creatures, fox pellets and stuff all around her. And the fox design is probably my favorite. I think the Viking needs to have more capes in general, and capes with like fur and stuff. Look at this, even the fox has a little bit of paint on his eyes. And that basically sums up the best of her kit. There's probably a few things that I'm missing. You guys will let me know, any of the shaman mains out there that know the ins and outs of this character, but those are the main things besides her having like soft feintable attacks and having a bleed after the unblockable heavy, which is all nice and dandy. But I think she has quite a few weaknesses, glaring weaknesses that people really seem to forget. The first thing I want to talk about is why the heck does she have 22 damage heavies? That's just laughably bad. There's no reason for her to have it. People that have soft feint GBs like Raider already have 24 neutral damage heavies. Characters like Conqueror now have 24 damage neutral heavies. The only reason it's 22 damage on chain is because it's unblockable and you can do it forever, while Shaman starts off with low damage and has the option to do a bleed on guard break, which leads into her pounce, which is really cool and a fun mix-up, but it doesn't warrant her to have weak neutral damage, in my opinion. I think this needs to be a hotfix and needs to be changed to 24 damage. And with that segue, we can go into her side heavy unblockable, which it is 1100 MS, guys. Do you guys know how slow that is? Let me give you an example. Kensei's top heavy unblockable is 1200 MS. Do you see how slow that is? He always gets interrupted all the time. You can like sort of option select with his soft feint, light attack, and heavy attack to trade with some heroes, except for the new heroes, because they can just dodge cancel everything. But look at Orochi's top heavy unblockable. It's 900 MS, and it goes so far, has a huge hitbox. Hitakiri's is 1100, but she has variable timed heavies and hyper armor to support her slow startup for team fights. Shigoki's, I believe, is 1300 MS, but his is great for team fights with the same properties as Hitakiri's with a huge trajectory. Shaman's unblockable left side heavy doesn't have that big of a hitbox. It's not too shabby, but she has an axe, for God's sakes. This is it's not gonna reach anybody at all. There's no reason for it to be this slow. It needs to get sped up to like 900 MS, same as Orochi's. The only good thing that has going for it is that it's soft feintable with the GB. The next thing I take issue with Shaman is that it's a really weird thing that when they sped up her soft feint bleed attacks to 400 MS and 466, they never adjusted her forward running attack. And of course, if you guys didn't know, her forward running attack consists of the left, top, and right. The right one, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is 500 MS, and it's actually a really good tool for openers and to catch people. Her top one, it's incredibly slow. It's like 600 or 700 MS, I believe, and so is her left one. These ones are so slow that there's no point in using them, besides maybe to even roll catch, but even the roll catching is too slow of an aspect because you should always use the right one anyways. I will say that the left one has a weird timing where you can catch people who try to iframe away from you, and it's a really weird interaction because it's so slow that it skips and it waits enough for the iframes to go away on a Jane June or a Tiandi or anybody with iframe that it will catch them. So I suppose it does have its use, but I feel like having more consistency for this character would make a lot more sense, or just having it be slightly faster. And the last thing that I want to touch up on is that her anti-ganking capabilities are pretty much non-existent. I'd say she has okay stalling capabilities because of her dodge attack and her good recoveries, but other than that, when I'm up against, well, I guess it's the case for many characters in general, many weak characters. If you're up against like 2 Jane Junes or 2 Shigokis or 2 Raiders, 2 Itakiris, 2 Kyoshins, 2 of any strong hero, top tier hero, you're gonna have a bad time. And it's just not a good time when you're using Shaman because she can't deal enough damage quick enough to these heroes before they can just take out all your HP, because Revenge is basically pointless and Ubisoft is literally trying to phase out Revenge and make it worthless. I mean, just look at the clips you're seeing right now. I am literally trying my hardest and not trying to commentate, and you can hear my mouse just clickety clack and trying to do my best as Shaman because I am thinking incredibly hard because there's unblockables coming to me left and right. Hero picks will determine how much fun you're going to have in this game. That is a fact that could not be more true. And now we near towards the end of the video, and as always, we are going to be talking about some rework ideas since I've been playing Shaman for quite a long time now. So some first mentions that I'm going to be talking about, it is my opinion, of course, and I'm not necessarily Shaman main, but I do have like 12, 11 reps on her, so I do really enjoy the character, and I enjoy a lot of the characters in this game. So if you have different opinions or better rework ideas, please let me know down in the comments, because if those Shaman mains really know what the hell's going on, then be sure to tell me. Otherwise, let's just try to get into it, and as always, I want to keep things simple because this character is one of the unique ones that is still strong and requires you to think a little bit about her moveset, but I still think she needs a few tweaks here and there. First thing is going to be 24 damage neutral heavies. My god, this needs to be standard. Better recovery on her zone finishers and her chain lights, because her zone recovery on her finisher zone is just, it takes years to finish it, absolutely years, and you're vulnerable for such a long time. The next thing I would do is less stamina consumption on her bash, because it takes up like half your stamina to do anything. It has the Warden problem, but except Warden is, his bash is a lot better in general. Please, Ubisoft, please, for the love of God, please don't change the bash, as it's unique and fun to use, because getting the wall splat for a bleed or a heavy attack is so awesome. Just make it consume less stamina. That's all I care about. I don't care about competitive viability for dodge recoveries. Fuck that shit. And the first thing is, she can't even be necessarily competitive viable anymore, because all the heroes you powercraft have incredible range and defense for their unblockable heavies, so she's got no chance whatsoever. The next thing is to speed up unblockable side heavies to 900 MS. As I told you before, they were 1100, so if you speed it up, I think it would be nice and would give her a little bit more viability. Another thing I would add, and I might add, is allow you to soft feign bleed cancel, just like Peacekeeper, to be cool. On the top, on the right, doesn't matter. It could be both, it could just be one. It's up to you guys. It could be a little bit overkill since she does have soft feignable GBs with her unblockable heavies and just heavies in general, but I think it'd be a neat addition to the character. Some people have said that they want to speed up the bite animation so that, you know, you're not just vulnerable for the long period of time there, but I prefer them to not, because it's kind of unique to her character and to her personality, and I like seeing that she likes to take her time enjoying her meal, and she likes to play with her food, and that's the perfect representation of my girl Shaman here. Other than that, I really don't think there's much to do with her, because she already has really fun chains to use, fun bleed mechanics, and good clutch potential with her bleed and recovering health back. Her damage is pretty decent too when it comes to her bite. I don't think they necessarily need to change The damage values, 35 is a good number. Since it already guarantees another heavy from your teammates, this should be fine when it comes to duels and Dominion. And with all those changes, I think it would make her a lot more fun, a little bit more viable, definitely not like S tier or top tier. I want her to be strong, but I don't want the power creep that Ubisoft has been doing to every single character, especially the new Magi character that we're getting, unblockables, hyper armor on everything. My god, Ubisoft, you do not play your game. Look at Shaman, look at Kensei, these are the perfect heroes. I might even go as far to say Shaman might even be the most balanced character in the entire game. Maybe, because she has good offense, decent defense, and she's fun to use with unique traits to the character. And so that concludes my analysis with Shaman. I've been playing her a lot, and I really do enjoy the character, and I feel like it's one of For Honor's best heroes that they've ever made. And unfortunately, that is saying a lot. Sadly, that is the case. But still, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please let me know your thoughts down below. We'd greatly appreciate that. What hero do you guys want to see next? I'll probably be doing Valkyrie next. I'd say 97% sure that I'll be doing Valkyrie next, so look forward to that. Make sure you guys are subscribed and all that good stuff, and notification bell so that you can see the new video. But that'll do it for me. The box is tired now. Bye bye. See you later.